Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to Temple Sinai. I'm Lynn Weinstein, co-president, along with Betty Adams. And on behalf of our clergy and our Board of Trustees, thank you for joining us on a cold winter night somewhere, but not necessarily here in Delray Beach, Florida. Thrilled to see you here this evening, and welcome to all of the folks that are joining us on virtual Temple Sinai here in South Palm Beach County and across North America, perhaps South America, and elsewhere as well. Our service this evening will be led by Rabbi Aviva Bass and student cantor Dan Geigerman. Our musician, Dr. Dave McFarland, is where he needs to be at St. Paul's this evening. Before we go ahead, I'd like to remind those of you who've come in just the past few minutes to please make sure your electronic devices, cell phones, are silenced throughout the duration of our worship this evening. And we will join together for a very light nash following our services. Rabbi?
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. And I will also say, Merry Shabbos. I say that tongue-in-cheek, but I actually am going to let you know that tonight's service is going to include a few elements that we don't normally do here. It's going to be a little bit different than perhaps we've done. And I gave a little bit of a heads up to people in the email that I sent out earlier this week. I want to give just a little bit of background, if you don't mind. If I didn't, I'm going to give my remarks early rather than later. Usually I don't give my remarks here, but I want to give a little bit of a reason behind the choices that we have made this evening. So as a child, I, like many American Jewish kids, I was jealous of the Christian kids, of the non-Jewish kids, during this time of year because of all that they had in terms of Christmas. But one of the things that I most enjoyed was the music. And as I became interested in my singing and started voice lessons, even in middle school, I was the one who was chosen to sing O Holy Night during our Christmas concerts or winter concerts. And I actually, at that time in my life, I was offended that I heard that one of my fellow Jewish kids in the school, in the choir, had complained about the text of this song. And because of this, I was requested to change the lyrics just slightly. From the night that Christ was born to the night that the babe was born. And I thought, I'm Jewish too, and I'm not offended. Why not? It's someone else's lyrics, that's fine. As I grew into my adulthood and my Judaism, my thoughts and feelings changed. And I felt, even in college, as I was exploring my Judaism, I felt I could no longer sing O Holy Night or other Christian liturgical pieces because it felt inauthentic to me, and it felt really like crossing a boundary to me. However, as I have grown as a rabbi, and as I have been in many different places in the world, I've asked myself, where do we set the boundaries? Is it really kosher to sing something of someone else's tradition if we do so in a way that is honoring our own tradition? Where do we say our distinctiveness ends? Where do we say this is the boundary that we need to set for our Judaism? And I mentioned a couple weeks ago when we observed Hanukkah that back in those days, in the Hasmonean days, there were Jews who were assimilated back then, and actually the Maccabees and their followers won, and Judaism won in part because those Maccabees and their followers fought against the Jews who had assimilated to Hellenism. So the question is, what is different in our lives today? And what is secular culture? And what is religious culture? Where do we draw the line? So, and I want to mention a couple of things. Actually, I had sung in a conference of Christians and Jews in Australia. I sang Ave Maria for the purpose of sparking the discussion between the Christians and Jews about this text and about me as a rabbi singing this text. How did the Christians feel? How did the Jews feel? I'll hold off on how they felt because I want to ask you how you feel tonight. We're not going to do the entire service to Christian liturgy. I want you to understand. We're going to use Hebrew liturgy even with the melodies that we're going to borrow. We're going to borrow some melodies. And I want to mention also that Jewish melodies such as Maoz Sur, that now we think of as such a Jewish melody, had actually been borrowed from others, like Christians actually, like Luther, who took that melody for his German chorales, or from popular drinking songs at the time. So we have borrowed before. This is nothing new. So, and I want to mention that White Christmas, one of my very favorites that we're going to hear in just a few moments, was written by my distant cousin, Irving Berlin, very much a Jew. What makes Jewish music Jewish? What makes non-Jewish music non-Jewish? So these are the questions that I'm asking. And does it matter if we borrow a melody that the original lyrics for which were liturgical, were actually used for a religious purpose, have words like Jesus or Christ in them? Does that matter if the original did? Or if, like Jingle Bells, completely secular from the start? So these are the questions I'm asking you to think about as we go through our service. We're not going to have a lot of the music from there, but a couple of smattering of those pieces. I want you to know that specifically, of course, the Baruch, the Shema V'Ahavta, the Tfilah, that's all going to be traditional Jewish melodies. So don't worry about that. You will have an opportunity to fully experience your worship tonight. But I want you to think about these questions, and we're going to come back to them a little bit later in our service. To start off our service, let's have a song. What about Irving Berlin? What do you think?
Well, let me just say that coming from living in the Midwest, that actually has what we call winter. Unlike here, this is not winter.
Right.
But
Right.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow.
Thank you, Cantor Dan. So we're going to start, as we usually do, on pages 120 and 121 as I invite our immediate past president, Judy Stern, to come and light our Shabbos candles, pages 120 and 121.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, Help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Thank you, Judy. And now we continue with the Kiddush on pages 122 and 123 as Cantor Dan leads us all in singing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon inchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'charta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Shabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. And now we continue by inviting the angels of Shabbat, both seen and unseen, into our presence. Of course, the word malach in Hebrew meaning not only angel, but messenger of God, and recognizing we all can be messengers for one another. And I know we have some unseen angels who are joining us via the internet, so we invite you as well. On page 142, with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Akadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, mi melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeidchem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, mi melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And now now on pages 138 and 139, we have Lachadodi, to which we are singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we get to verse 9, it is our custom here on Minhag to rise and welcome the Shabbat queen or bride into our midst. So those who are able to do so will rise at the last stanza of Lachadodi, page 138.
Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad Ishmi'anu el ha'miyuchad Adonai echad U'shemo echad V'shemo tiferet v'litila lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Lecha dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Likrat Shabbat Leruben Elcha Ki hi mekor habaracha Verosh mikedem nesucha So ma'aseh b'machshava tfilah lecha dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Lecha dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Hitoreri Kiva orech umiori Uri shir daveri Kivod Adonai alech nigla lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Vo'i v'shalom ateret ba'ala Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola Toch emunei asegula Vo'i chala Lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela.
For those of you who are here in our sanctuary, normally we would ask you to turn around and talk to people that you don't necessarily know, and I would love to do that. However, I am concerned about the Omicron virus and that some of our members are wearing masks and some are not, and I don't want to put anyone in an uncomfortable position. So we'll save our conversation for our oneg afterwards, and people can speak to those they wish. Let's rise, however, for the Barchu, the call to worship, page 146.
We rise
the Barchu.
Barechu et Adonai Amevorach. Barechu et Adonai Amevorach. Baruch Adonai Amevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai.
Please take a seat as we turn to page 148 for the Ma'ariv Aravim prayer.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim Bechokma poteach sheharim Uvibuna meshane itim Umakalif et hazmanim Umesader et hakochavim B'mishmerotehem berakia ketzono Borei yom v'layla Golel or mipnei choshech V'choshech mipnei or V'choshech mipnei or U'ma'avir yom u'mevin layla U'mavdil ben yom u'ben layla Adonai Tzevaot Shemo El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Amariv Aravim.
Amen. We turn to page 150 now for the Ahavat Olam. Let's read this together in the English. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Those who are able to do so, please rise for the Shema, pages 152 and 153.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shenkevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Please take a seat as we turn to page 154 and chant the Ve'ahavta together. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha Ukshartam leot ayadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai V'tem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. We now think of those places in the world and in our own community and maybe in our own lives where people are in need of feeling God's sheltering presence. And I invite you all to close your eyes and listen as Cantor Dan sings this beautiful setting to the Hashkiveinu prayer. If you wish to look at the words, they are on page 160. And this is the Hashkiveinu.
Cause us, O Lord our God, to lie down each night in peace, and to awaken each morning to renewed life and strength. Spread over us the tabernacle of thy peace. Help us to order our lives by thy counsel, and lead us in the paths of righteousness. Be thou a shield about us, protecting us from hate and war, from pestilence and sorrow. Curb thou also within us the inclination to do evil, and shelter us beneath the shadow of thy wings. Guard our going out and our coming in unto life and peace from this time forth and forevermore. Amen.
In a moment, we will rise for the Tfilah, which begins on page 164 and continues on the even-numbered pages as we chant with Cantor Dan. And then we will go into a time of silent prayer or meditation. And I invite those who are here, if you would please be seated when you are done with your own silent meditation, we will know when we may continue. We rise on page 164 for the Tfilah.
Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor leolam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem. Mechalkel chaim bechesed. Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim berofech olim, umatir asurim, umekayim emunato, lishenei afar, lichamocha bal givurot, umido melach, melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'emanata lehachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehallelu Selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Ose shalom bimromar hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tzevel ve'imru amen ve'imru amen.
We come to the part of our service when we think of those who are in need of healing, healing of body, of mind, of spirit, or of all three. I have here a list of those who are in need of healing, and I put it here in front of me. But I also would like to ask if you have a name or names of those who you are thinking of at this time, to please say those names aloud now. So for all of those whom we have named, as well as all of those we keep in our hearts, I sing this Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Misha Berach Imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel. May the one who blessed the ones before us help us heal from all our wounds as well. Please hear our prayers. Oh, hear your children's voices, my God, divine, Holy One, who loves us all. Oh God, divine, oh God, Adonai. Amen. So I see some positive reactions. I see some quizzical, perhaps, reactions. Some of you are masked, so I have no idea what your reactions are. And those who are over there in internet land, I'm going to have to read the chat afterwards and see what your reactions are. So I would like to open up a discussion and answer some of these questions that I have asked. And please understand that each of us has our own feelings of where our boundaries lie. Please use only I statements and don't relate to anyone else's, okay? So those are some some boundaries we're going to make here so that nobody feels uncomfortable, and everyone's opinion is completely valid. So whether you think it was trash and we should never do this, or you think this was wonderful, let's do it more, anywhere in between, that's all valid. And also I want to ask, does it make a difference what the original piece was? So we have a microphone. Oh, here we go. Eric will go around here and in our sanctuary, and hopefully you'll be able to hear, those who are listening from afar will be able to hear some of the discussion here. So Eric, here we go. Sue, go ahead. So the questions are, how did you feel hearing some of our liturgy set to music that is either secular Christmas music or even religious Christian music, the melodies? So how did you feel with that?
Well, like you, Rabbi, I was the official O Holy Night singer for the high school. I grew up with all of my friends being involved in music. It was one of our greatest pleasures to go singing Christmas songs, going door to door, Christmas time, singing all the Christmas music. I know Christmas music, all of the songs, and I think all of the music is beautiful, and not one bit of it has any religious connotation to it. To me, it's the music that's so beautiful, and there are some truly beautiful Christmas melodies. So,
Well, thank you, Sue.
Head over here.
Okay.
Hi, Robert.
I actually want to begin with a personal story from when Marcia and I visited Israel. And as many of you know, I'm from Sephardic background, and we went to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And there are 4 different religious groups all doing their services at the same time. And I was astounded to hear from the Armenian church group all of those melodies that I recognized from our high holiday service. So
Interesting.
this has been going on for thousands of years. The word trope we think of as Hebrew. It isn't. It comes from the Greek, because so much of what we do comes from Greek music. And
Let me ask you, Bob, how did you feel listening and hearing our melodies set to Christian texts?
I appreciated them, and as long as I felt more bothered by White Christmas, because that's a reference to Christmas, I did not feel at all bothered by the music to our liturgy.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Bob.
Thanks.
Judy, go ahead.
I enjoy this very much. I love listening to Christmas music. I keep it on in my car on Sirius FM. And I just thought it was done very well. And it's a nice change. And I hope we continue that.
Thank you. Thank you, Judy.
Yeah, right here.
I felt a little offended. I'm sorry to say, but
No,
I've
please
had
do.
enough Christmas music on the airwaves all week, and I came here tonight to get away from it.
Oh, so you didn't read the email. I'm sorry. So you didn't know. Okay, sorry.
My grandfather of blessed memory used to say that any music of any stripe and kind, came from the author of all music who spoke the world into being. And therefore, when the time came in high school, they were doing Handel's Messiah. And obviously there were certain words, there was no way I was going to say them. I changed the words, and I told the choir director that I was going to change the words because I could not sing them. But I sang all of the rest of it from the standpoint that whatever it was that they were saying was to the glory of Adonai. And whether they realized it or not, whether they realized the love that comes from the divine that they were expressing,
Whether they realized that they were speaking God's glory, I have no idea. But I knew that when I was doing the music, that is what I was doing. So to this day, I will do snippets of it if the occasion arises, but it doesn't have the meaning that it does for people of another stripe or faith, because I know that it all comes from the same divine source.
Wonderful.
So thank you for singing it.
And both of those opinions that were just expressed back to back are equally as valid, and I can understand where both of you are coming from. Beautiful, thank you. Sherry?
Yes, some of you know that I participate in a group called Daughters of Abraham. Abraham is the forefather of Jews, Christians, and Muslims. And we met the other day, and we'd like to share our commonality and how we are all together. I thought this was great. I loved it. I do remember years ago when I was a classroom teacher in Dade County, and it was the holidays. We had a Christmas tree. I was not allowed to bring in a menorah. The menorah was a religious symbol.
Oh.
The Christmas tree was not. But I managed to work around it anyway. I was still able to celebrate, just brought not a specific menorah, which is a religious
or dreidel,
symbol.
Maybe. Dreidel is just a game, right? Yes? Larry. go
Two
ahead.
things. First, my wonderful parents made it seem like Hanukkah was a better holiday than Christmas, because we had 8 days to celebrate instead of just one.
Right.
But talking about the melodies, I think they're wonderful, especially with the two beautiful voices that we heard. It was just spectacular and wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
I
Can
remember
someone
when
help
I
with-
was a young boy, a long, long time ago, going to school, and whenever they sang the Christmas songs, I would not sing the song, not knowing anything else but that it was a Christmas song. And coming from a very religious background, I just kept my mouth shut, and I don't know why. And I just remembered this day why, because my father said, don't sing them. So I didn't.
So how did you feel, though, hearing this
I had
music
no
tonight?
feeling, I didn't care, it didn't make a bit of difference to me. I just didn't do it. And
Okay.
I can't explain it, I don't understand it, but I just didn't do it.
Okay, thank you. Other perspectives? Thank you, Jane. Yes?
Well, my mother came from an extremely religious background. My grandfather was a chassid, and my mother sang opera. And she would secretly go into New York City over the weekend. She couldn't tell her father what she was doing. She said, I'm going to Ruthie's house for Shabbos.
Wow.
But she would be in the city with classical musicians and opera. When I was in middle school, junior high school, I was in the choir, and where I was, it was all Christmas. My mother had no problem with me singing all the Christmas carols that we had to sing. The music is beautiful, and I thought your voice was magnificent tonight.
Thank you.
But I did feel a little weird hearing "O Holy Night" for
Misha Barrow.
the song.
Mhm.
But the music itself really is beautiful, and if we just use our words to beautiful music, I don't think it could hurt that badly.
Mhm. So you said you felt weird. Did it? You said you felt weird to hear Misha
Yes,
Barrow.
when
to
you
O Holy
began
Night.
to sing, and I knew
yes.
the melody was "O Holy Night," but it was to our
Right.
prayer, I thought, oh my gosh, that's "O Holy Night" to
So
our
did
prayer.
it? So it detracted from it for you a bit, which is
It,
fine.
it jolted me a little bit
Yeah.
at first,
Mhm.
but then your voice was so pretty that I just went along with it and took it for your voice's value,
Mhm.
the music value and not the religious value of where that melody came from.
Right. To tell you the truth, I have mixed feelings about it myself. I mean, I wrote those lyrics to fit those words because I love the melody, and I thought, let's try it. Let's just experiment. I don't know if I would do it again, to be honest, but it was an interesting experiment, and I love the piece as well. So I also have mixed feelings, ambivalence. Carol?
Yeah, we have a minhag here of changing the music to a lot of our liturgy when there's a holiday.
Right.
We sing part of it to My Country 'Tis of Thee, or around the 4th of July. We sing part of it to, well, I don't know. I mean, it comes up quite frequently. And then, of course, there's the Purim spiel, where we do all sorts of stuff with show tunes. So it fits in very nicely. And of course, it just gave me a thrill to hear you singing that melody. So thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Anyone else? All right, so let's close with a song.
Yeah,
Andrew
I
Dan.
thought, I can't remember who it was, but talked about Abraham being the father. Yeah, thank you. This is such a wonderful teaching, is that we are all connected. And I love this song. It's called One and Only. If your God is my God and my God is everything, aren't we all part of one God? So let your God be my God and our God be everything. Oh, we'll all know we're all parts of one God. So open up your hearts to all the lost and lonely. Let no one be alone tonight before our one and only, before our one and only. So even though we might have different interpretations of God, it's still just God.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we're going to take a little break for a few announcements. Betty Adams, our co-president, will deliver them this evening.
Did I turn it off?
Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me? I'm Betty Adams, co-president of Temple Sinai, along with Lynn Weinstein. And I'm glad to see everyone here in the sanctuary and all the internet angels. I really like that, internet angels out there. I want to thank Rabbi Aviva and Cantor Dan for a beautiful service so far, and tell you who is sponsoring tonight. Tonight's Erev Shabbat service is sponsored by Lori and Steve Tamber in memory of Lori's mother, Charlotte Nelson, Carol Sklar in memory of Isidore Eisen, Harvey Fields in memory of his father, Julius Fields, Lynn Birkin in memory of her beloved mother, Jane Karp, Marilyn and Dr. Gerald Wilk in memory of Dr. Gerald's father, Jacob Wilk, Ruth Kurland in memory of her beloved daughter, Audrey Kurland, and the following donations to the community food pantries, or donation, is sponsored by Ethel Greenblatt in memory of Esther Gottlieb. Our Saturday, December 25th, Shabbat Torah study, yes, we will have Torah study on Christmas Day, is sponsored by Lori and Steve Tamber in memory of Lori's mother, Charlotte Nelson, Lois S. Stern in memory of her beloved mother, Norma Edish, Jill Meadow and John Black in memory of Rosalinda Black, Rebecca Lipman in memory of her beloved sister, Sylvia Abramowitz. And we do have some announcements. First of all, I would like to thank Sisterhood for although it's a small, different kind of oneg than we are used to a couple of years ago, they still do the work to get the oneg, the goodies here, and we'll enjoy sitting together and having a snack, a nosh, afterwards. And tonight's tzedakah, the tzedakah bowl, sometimes people have a hard time finding it, so if you're looking for it, it's across from where the name badges are, a little blue bowl. And the tzedakah is still going to the Louisville, Kentucky Jewish Federation for tornado relief. Tonight will be the last night we'll be collecting for that particular charity. Couple more announcements. I don't know if everybody is familiar that we do have a Dues for Life program here. And we wanted you to know that the Dues for Life amounts are increasing as of January 1st. So if you've ever considered becoming a Dues for Life member, now would be the time before January 1st. You can see David Stern if you're here tonight. You can call the office on Monday and we'll get someone to help you with that. And we would love to have any more Dues for Life members that would like to do that. Also, we do have a concert coming up on January 15th, the Renditions. They're a fabulous group. They sold out here a couple of years ago, and the tickets are going fast. I don't even know if there are any of the premium seats left, but there are seats left for sure. And Judy Stern will be here selling tickets tonight. If you're out there and you want tickets, you can call the office, 561-276-6161. Leave a message on extension 128, and Judy Stern will get back to you within 24 hours. And also the Spanish River Concert Series, we are also selling those tickets. It's a fundraiser for the temple. The actual concerts are not here. They are at Spanish River Church Auditorium. But you can call the same number and extension 114. Leave a message there. And one of the two co-chairs, Sherry or Harvey, will get back with you and help you with that. And one more thing, we are having bingo every Wednesday night. Some of you here are volunteers. Yay, clapping. Some of you are volunteers. Some of you actually come and play. Some of you do both. If you aren't interested in bingo, that's okay. Tell a friend, tell another friend, tell a lot of friends, and they'll tell their friends, because the more we have, the better it is for the temple, and everybody loves our bingo game, so they should come. Shabbat Shalom. Oh yes, tomorrow. Thank you, Carol. That's a very important announcement, and that I could have led with that, but I didn't. Tomorrow morning, yes, there will definitely be morning Shabbat service, Saturday morning Shabbat service at 10 a.m. right here in the sanctuary, and there is also a link that goes out after the service tonight. If you can't make it here and you want to watch it anytime during the day or anytime ever, go ahead and look for the link. Thank you very much.
And then we have Torah study at 12:30.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, 12:30, and that's Zoom only, the Torah study. Don't come here for Torah study. I also want to mention that next week is going to be New Year's Eve, and to keep everyone off the roads late at night, we have decided to do an earlier service. So next week's service, Friday night service, will be at 6 p.m. This has been sent out in announcements. It will be sent out written as well, but I want to tell anyone who's listening, 6 p.m. on Friday, the 31st.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we come to the Aleinu, which is on page 586. And we rise as the ark is opened.
It's up to us to call ourselves to task, to sing what's good and true, to bring about redemption. It's what we were free to do. For what's the point of being here if we're not moved to change our ways? Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to hear our praise. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, lateit gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kimishbechot ha'adama. Shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. V'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shem
Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad.
Thank you. Please take a seat. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision or grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death, all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. In God's hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love we are comforted. O life of our life, soul of our souls, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you. At this time, we recall those whose yahrzeits, the anniversary of their passing, occurred at this time in years past, and those names are illuminated on the plaques surrounding the sanctuary. These names: Sylvia Abramowitz, Joseph Avergan, Irving Berg, Diana Birkin, Sadie Brombrut, Raina Bredbar, Louis Chazen, Harry Davidowitz, Mama Eiferman, Norma Edish, Esther Gottlieb, Jane Karp, Audrey Kurland, Bertha Landman, Kurt Landsberger, Samuel Mickelson, Sina Mickelson, Walter Mickelson, Karen L. Moore, Abraham B. Porter, Minnie Rosenbaum, Thelma Rosenblum, Corinne Rothenberg, Leo Shine, Jean Schachter, Millicent Silverstein, Sarah Vinnick, Joseph Yadowitz. Others recalled at this time: Murray Baymel, Rosalinda Black, Ada Block, Julius Fields, Bernice Gable, Susan Gordon, Joseph Greenfield, Ernest Hirsch, Allegra Katz, David Lewis, Grace Lichtman, Phyllis Milden, Brian Moskowitz, Charlotte Nelson, Ruben Sapoznik, David Savell, Esther Tamber, Samuel Weber, Jacob Wilk, Louis Wallowitz, Florence Zantz, and Saul Zantz. Those whose deaths are more recent, in the past 30 days, the Shloshim period since their funerals: Lee Abraham, Teddy Wasserman, Mitchell Lubitz, Diane Roman, and Pauline Penny Altus. If you are thinking of someone who I have not named, as I gesture around the room, please raise your hand and I will indicate to you to say the name aloud. And those worshiping from afar, please say the names, if you have names of loved ones that you're recalling at this time as well. In their memory, and in the memory of those who passed who were actually murdered in the Shoah, we rise in solidarity with mourners everywhere as we recite the Mourners Kaddish on page 598, 598. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divara chirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon uvyomechon. Uvachaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ul olmei maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal Shemeda Kudisha Barichu Le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran ba'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi shalom maraba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all who mourn among us. And let us all say, Amen.
Amen.
Please take a seat as we turn to Adon Olam on 625.
I preface this with a short story. When I was younger, my father wanted me to come to one of his office parties, and he decided that he was going to dress as Santa for the children of his employees so that he could hand them out presents. And he asked me if I would dress up to be one of his elves. And it was the most fun I have ever had at a Christmas party. So, with that, Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nifra Ve'et nasa v'chefso kol azay melech shemo nikra Ve'acharei higlota kol levado im lo Torah Ve'hu haya ve'hu hove ve'hu yeh v'tifara Ve'hu echad ve'en sheni lehamshir lo et hafira Veli reishi, veli tachli, velo ha'misra Vehu eli v'chai go'ali v'tzur tevli v'tzara Vehu nisi u'manosli menatko b'yom ekra Bi'ado afkid ruchi v'etishan ve'ahira Ve'im ruchi geviatzi Adonai li ve'lo ira Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra Leid nasa v'chefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat